Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Eliza Bloom Robinson. I am working with, playing with, exploring in new humanity now. And this is part of our Voices of a New Humanity. I have with me today in conversation my friend Peter Melton. Peter and I met a little over a year ago and found out we have all these mutual friends, Bob and Noel and Barbara Marx Hubbard, and then the whole line of people. So we've gotten to spend some time together over the last year or so, not much. But Peter popped up in my feed the other day and I went, what are you doing? And so I reached out and he said, what are you doing? So today's conversation is really about the idea of new humanity and how is that showing up, and how is that showing up for individuals? Because I find a lot of people are like, well, kind of get it, but I don't really know what's happening. So Peter is a spiritual wizard.
Hi.
He's a massive climate change expert. He's a fascinating storyteller, and he's deep into his own spirituality. So Peter, would you just say hello and tell us just a little bit more about you? And then I want to jump into the conversation we were talking about.
Yeah, thank you. Delightful to be playing the Zoom game here in the Zoomosphere that we're all adding to our skill set of how to be present, how to be connected, how to feel in the Zoom world and this new exciting connection. Yeah, I just feel like the time is so ripe and so ripe. There's a new listening that's available that's really drawing a lot forth in me to share, to be this storyteller that I've always known myself to be, but have always dealt with these fears, I guess, for lack of a better word, of expressing. And even though I'm outgoing and I tend to express a lot, there's still so much more in there to come out. And when you were talking about the new humanity and what's real for us now, and it's like, yeah, it's moving through me in such a neat way. I feel more present and more alive, to myself, to the birds I hear chirping outside, to the sunrise. I've watched 15 sunrises in a row after maybe only watching 15 sunrises in my whole life.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That kind of new awareness, budding in my new humanity now.
Yeah. Well, I know, Peter, we did a little bit of work together over a year ago, probably, and you were really wanting to express your creativity in new ways. And it
Yeah.
sounds to me like that's happening not only in your work and your poetry and your storytelling, but also in your interpersonal communications. So what do you notice that's
Yeah, well,
different?
that's yeah, boy, we were talking about this right before we came on, and it's what's now for me is whatever combination of videos I've listened to and books I've read, puzzle pieces I've picked up along the way, right? In all different ways when we never know what they are, all the pixie dust that people like yourself leave around that gets picked up and then get teamed up with something I heard Joe Schmo say, and then there was that thing that happened there, and then my friend said that, and somehow these things all come together in this amazing alchemy puzzle thing. And then you throw in climate change in my situation, the new world that's evolving in our hearts and souls and bodies around what's happening to the planet, and our deep connection to the planet. I think the greatest thing, the greatest shift that's happened to me and was especially highlighted this past week, since it's just been Earth Day, is that the earth, it's not the earth, it's earth, right? That earth is this verb urging itself forward through me, right? As me, as a blade of grass, right? And here's my job as a flower or a tree or a mountain or whatever is to earth, right? And so I'm feeling that connection in a way I've never felt it before, and noticing when and how disconnect happens. So I'm identifying, I'm self-identifying from a whole new, incredibly powerful place of I am Earth. And when I own myself as I am Earth, then I also have to own myself as I am the Earth Sun dance, right?
Right.
That without the Earth falling in love with the sun, and I wrote about this the other day, that that when we celebrate Earth Day, we really have to celebrate Sun Day, right?
Right.
That the sun and the earth are a team quite clearly, and without the sun, this doesn't happen. Uh, and and so I am that. And if I own that, then I have to own myself as the solar system. And if I own that, I have to own myself as the galaxy. And as I own that, I have to own myself as the cosmos. And then here we are in infinity and God and spirit and owning myself as creation itself, right? And the magic of life that created the cosmos, the solar system, the galaxy, the earth sun, humanity, me, the flower. The magic that growing that beautiful flower outside is the same magic that's growing me. And as I dare to identify that, I identify myself as that,
Yeah.
right? All these 8 layers of who I really am, right? That there's a wind in the sails and there's a presence to this moment. That bird chirp right then that I just heard, right? That life, that urge that I am, that bird chirping, the sound of the vibration of the bird chirping is making love to my ear, right?
Mm.
That there is a
Mhm.
magic connection that we so often take for granted, that when I dare to hold that as me, it just, right? I am just glowy and blossoming in every moment. This is how the magic of the universe is blossoming as Peter right now,
And
right?
what's so fascinating to me is that it's happening. Like it's just happening. You and me and many others have been talking about this kind of thing for a long time. And all of a sudden it just is. And when you said earthing, that just like came into me. And we're birthing earthing. We could get really some tongue
Yeah.
going here. But then when you went on, and it is that some of the language that I've been starting to use is like, in my tradition, we've been talking about moving to oneness. But it's like that's not it. It's beyond oneness to allness. And when you're describing that that we are, that's not theoretical anymore. You're having that experience. I can see it in you. And for each of us, this is what's accessible now that I don't think was even a month and a half ago. I mean, it was, but now it's like because of the world, it's like,
Yeah. That for me, my personal experience was I spent a bunch of time in my head my whole life. That was safe for me. And I loved playing in my brain and imagination and creativity and just keeping it all up here. But some puzzle pieces have landed, and so many people have talked about embodiment and obviously the yogas and the meditations and the things to try to bring us into our body are so important and have been known for so long, but just never quite, those puzzle pieces didn't click for me. And I've been very disconnected from my body most of my life for whatever combination of reasons. But now something shifted there and the puzzle pieces landed, and it's like, oh my God, this is the earthing needs my body, or prefers to use all of me as opposed to just, right, one petal of a leaf, right, or one aspect of the flower, my creative brain. It could be the whole flower, right? It could be all the petals and all the little offshoot leaves, and that my body is not something that's just here to carry my brain around, right? But that that's pretty good. That
I,
that it is an expression. My body is earthing forth,
yeah.
and I can have access to all of that, the feeling of all of that body and that's what I'm stepping into and feeling into, and
The like some of our language isn't working right. It's like the language we've always used, but it feels different. So one of the things I've been talking about is instead of body and mind or heart, it's like our whole system, our body, mind, heart, soul, spirit, soul system. But when you play that out, like I can envision like your mind being the trunk and your heart being, the blossom and your, whatever for the whole flower. But when you land there, and again, that's language that doesn't really work anymore either. But when you like line up, like you've done it several times just since we've been talking for a few minutes, you just line up and everything changes. Like, there I am.
yeah,
There we are.
right. And we've always known that that exists. We've always known and I've tried to theorize and figure out in my mind this magic, this oneness, this knowingness that I'm so much more than my body. But here again, the combination of things freeing up, the combination of climate change daring me to live in a much smaller window, and daring me to wonder, to ponder deeper, what are we really up to? Right? I love the line of, we think we're a good species going somewhere important. We've never even pondered what we're doing as a species, let alone most of us what we're even doing with our lives, or what the purpose of humanity might even be. Or so that starts weaving in. And then when the virus came in, right, it added a whole nother feature. It eliminated the any kind of clarity about the future, right?
Didn't it?
And so instead of looking out over the fields on this great hike that we're on, right, and seeing miles into the distance, and oh, look at the trees over there, and there's some birds over there, the the virus and our response to the virus has created a fog over the future, and it's caused us to look at this one step that we're on now, that all we really can do right now is look at this step and maybe start to see the next one, which is tomorrow, right? But we don't see next week. You can't see next week from here, right? And it's made us unravel the illusion of linear time and future and all the future thinking. That's gone. And so, right, that past and future have collapsed in a way for me into this moment, which is this presence that I feel. And this aliveness is because we've always known, be here now, right? It's on the wall over there, but do I,
For
do I
30,
have,
40 years, we've known be here now, but now we're doing it. But
right.
we're not doing it, we're being it.
Ding, ding, ding.
We're
Right.
being that. Yeah, it's like that. I love how you said that it's collapsed our awareness for some of us, right?
Yep.
But the other thing I think that's happening, and I don't know if this is your experience or not, is we're getting access. We can't see the future. We can't see next week. We don't know what next year is going to look like. It's like, don't even worry about making plans for next month, because who knows. But at the same time, it feels like we're being, and for me, this is the birth of a new humanity. Like we're being given the opportunity to really co-create our future in a way that we never have, like in what's coming, in the creativity and the innovations and the collaboratives and the collectives is so rich. And I envision, I go future, I don't have any details about that, I just feel the richness of it and the weaving of it. Are you having a sense of that, even in not being able to see the close-up future?
Yeah, yes and no. I think that future, for whatever reason right now, it doesn't grab me, right? That there's a need for me to let go of what the end result's going to look like. And this is the
Yeah.
climate change training that we get when we dare to look deep into climate changes, that we've got to at some point accept that we don't know. And I've got to let go of the thought that this is all going to turn around and be hunky-dory, right? And that while I can hold that, when I come back to the moment, I can hold the clarity that that's what I intend. I know this to be a magic unfolding for humanity. And yes, I would love for that to equate to some beautiful way that we emerge from this, right? Whatever we looks like, emerge from this. Because as I
Mhm.
own the collective we, right, that it's not so much about how I emerge from this, right? It's not how
Right.
great my life hopefully will be 20 years from now, but that what, me as life, what will life, what will Earth look like, be like, feel like amidst that, and there's a richness in being in the moment, and it all circles down to this. People are asking me, well, what do we do? And it's like, well, and we get to this moment. You slow down enough to get to this moment, and that's another thing that the virus has done, given us a much easier access to the moment. And then in this moment, what we can do be is remembering. It all comes down to remembering for me, remembering what we talked about earlier, that I am this whole 14 billion year story unfolding, that I am the cosmos, that I am the Milky Way, that I am our solar system, I am the Earth Sun making love to each other, I am the Earth earthing, I am humanity going, wow, what's going on? And I am Peter, just in the field of flowers going, hi, flower, right? This is me. I'm just a flower. That's all I know. I'm just doing my flower thing, right?
Yeah.
And and that by remembering on however many levels you can remember right now, that remembering is going into the soup. That remembering is going into the collective consciousness of our universe. And that's what's going to urge force the next now, the next moment for us to be present in. And whatever comes 5, 10, 50 years from now will be enhanced by me doing me now, by me remembering it all now. And that's what I can do. And that's what I can invite other people to do through whatever means of interviews or telling stories or writing a book or God knows what, but just daring people to remember who we really are, and that goes in the soup and makes the soup that much richer in whatever the future holds.
Oh, that's just so.
Whew.
Whew. I think we'll wrap it up here because that was just like, that was beautiful, beautifully said. And so I just encourage everybody to be here now, to sink into this now moment that is the allness, and to line up with that which we desire, like line up with this power of remembering, as Peter so beautifully said. When we post this, we'll post links. So Peter, I'll get the links from you. Follow us on New Humanity Now. Join us in the conversation. And we would love, love, love to know how this conversation between Peter Melton and myself is impacting you. So please post your comments. Feel free to share. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Thank you.